In the last decade, the world has seen a dramatic rise in religiously motivated violence, the result of which is counted in human misery, dislocation, terrorism, and genocide. Some say the cause of this violence is not religion, but political manipulation of religion. Others lay the blame directly on religious teachings of exclusivist and intolerant claims to truth. Religion and its teachings now stand on trial in the minds of people around the world. Can the teachings of compassion prevail?
10,000 people were killed for just a few days in one very small locality, which was under protection of United Nations forces. I heard from other people about their experience that instead of pray, it was maybe more political speech from some religious representatives. So it was actually visible that religious identity was very manipulated in preparation of war and during war.
One of the most difficult challenges for religious leaders or even for any religious adherent is when someone from your own tradition uses sacred symbols and sacred texts in order to legitimate carnage, barbarism, and inhumanity.
In June of 2004, the World Council of Churches brought together people with experience in interfaith relations and peacemaking, seeking together to articulate how religion, in a responsible way, could become an unambiguous tool in overcoming violence.
First, my vision is that myself and whole the world has to live nowadays on a boundary line. We have to step over boundaries every day and worldwide, personally, and the religions and the traditions and the cultures in this globalized world. I realize a lot of problems. I realize that we live in an empire of fear.
I'm a Hindu myself, and I have been with other religious persons like Christians and Muslims and so on. In my younger days, we never had this phenomenon of violence. It is only lately, in the last 20, 30 years, there is a surge, a resurgence of violence among the various religious groups.
Yeah, well, it's almost as though there's a new world religion that's developing, and it's based more on nationalism than on faith in something divine and we would call the creator. It's a religion that is used to justify the goals of the policies of nations.
I think we need perhaps not to have in French what we call certitude, to be sure that we are in the right way, but we need perhaps every time, to question and to be ready to change our vision, our perceptions, and it's very important. I think all of us can be wrong.
I think religion touches the deepest part of the human nature. It's a huge resource for our feelings and our ideas, and this is why it could be dramatically used for the good and for the bad.
Anna Paula!
And religion of violence, it expresses the bad use of religion, but it expresses also how religion is so powerful that if we will use it in the other way, it will be much hopeful and optimistic.
Allahu Akbar.
I don't think religions should be the same. So each religion has its uniqueness, and people who follow it probably resonate with this uniqueness, and that's a very good thing. The thing is that needs to be developed is the mutual respect. The political discussions always deal with the present and the past. Who is to blame? Who started? Who did that? Who did this? But when we connect as human beings and we develop the deep and sincere and open conversation between us, we open the door for a different future.
So how do you think we can rebuild trust in the world where the violence has came up and we have lots of violence now? So what can we do about it?
I believe in the micro change, and I saw this change myself. I saw someone coming from, he was a settler, Orthodox settler. He was raised up in this community, and he came to a conference, and it happens that we started to talk to each other, etc. He said, Muhammad, you don't know how difficult it is to be raised in an ideological community, and then you meet someone else who is very different, that all your time you were told that this person is stupid, is terrorist, he is a troublemaker, and then you find that he is not. And the changing itself, to change yourself, is very painful. It's not that easy. It's not in one session that we will hug each other and oh God, make peace prevail on earth. It's very painful because it's all your ideas, all your life is changing before your eyes.
How do you think we can make people close their eyes on the political matters? Because the issue of violence bring up the political matters in the mind of anyone.
In fact, I'm for talking about these political things, but when they talk about these things informally, not in a session in which everyone has a paper and presentation and argumentations, etc., they will talk about politics, but Muhammad and Yehuda will talk about politics as Muhammad and Yehuda, not as the representative of the Arabs and the representative of Israel now giving their presentations and exchanging arguments. This is very differently.
You made a point about Yehuda. When I look to Yehuda, I cannot forget that he is an Israeli Jewish.
He is not an Israeli Jew. He is Yehuda Stolop. He is someone with a name. He is someone who has a wife and 3 children. I know their names. We exchange jokes about my son and his son, and it's very funny, but it's very important to make peace, because without this, he is not an Israeli Jew. He is Yehuda Stolop. He is someone, a person. Exactly, for me, you are not the Iranian Shia, who is different than me because I'm an Arab, I'm not Persian, I am Sunni, I'm not Shia. So, but you are Atifa, you are not the Shia and the one who is representing and reflecting all the Sunni Shia problems. You are Atifa.
As a person whose knowledge about Israeli people is just based on media, I really get hurted when I see in the media that every day many Palestinians are killed. So please do not expect me to be in such an easy communication with them.
Hatred never ceased by hatred. Hatred ceased by love and affection. This is an eternal law. No any religious discrimination. Every human being can apply this theory for peacemaking process. Both have to mutually understand. No conditions, of course.
Yeah. No, I don't have to wait for the other party.
Right, yeah. Condition is that, of course, if you want. There is no other condition. Condition is, if even though you have done something really worst, I have done something maybe not so much worse what you have done. There is no measurement. No need to find the measurement. First thing, we do understand, we both, if you can create that atmosphere of forgiving, that's the solution.
Yeah, but the other party may not understand. But I still have to offer.
There might be a third party to convince both of them. It's not easy.
What, out of compassion and mercy, I will make the first move.
It's better if you can.
Yeah.
I know about war experience from 2 sides, because I have experience as a refugee And I was with my children the first 2 years of the war out of Bosnia and Herzegovina. And then I went back with children in Bosnia and Herzegovina in the middle of war. I just recognized one day that the war could be very long, that the war is horrible, and I wasn't sure who will stop it. But I just found that actually ordinary people have to do something, in our power. So nevertheless, how small was my power, I had one strong feeling to use it in an aim of peace.
In the interreligious dialogue in South Africa, which was born in prisons, when we were incarcerated in prison, we dialogued, we shared to sustain our humanity in those difficult conditions. I learned more about my own Islam from the interaction with others, with Christians.
You know, God's revelation to each and every one of us, and whatever name we choose and however we define our spiritual understanding, is uniquely to us, that we are able to share in that with someone else who has another revelation, is to me a part of the gift of life.